Nowhere is more secure than an SCP Foundation facility. They make Fort Knox look like a revolving door with a spare key under the mat. That's why when someone or something can infiltrate without even being noticed, it's considered a major threat. And doing exactly that is what put a mysterious group of insurgents known as the Serpents' Hand on the map. But this group of interest isn't just famous for its ability to sneak into Foundation's strongholds. Like a lot of the SCP Foundation's biggest threats, from the Scarlet King to the Chaos Insurgency, the roots of the Serpent's Hand are closer than they think. The Foundation's first official brush with the Serpent's Hand came shortly after they contained SCP-268, an Irish tweed wool newsboy cap believed to have been created sometime in the 1800s. The only identifying mark on the cap is a label with the following phrase written in Middle Irish: "The garden is the serpent's place," initially believed to be a reference to the serpent in the biblical Garden of Eden. This Euclid-class SCP is a double-edged sword. It gives the user a useful supernatural ability at a terrifying supernatural cost. Anyone wearing the cap appears so utterly unremarkable that nobody is able to take notice of them. And when they leave a person's general area of awareness, they're quickly forgotten. The user isn't invisible, but they might as well be. If you're a person whose line of work involves sneaking and subterfuge, or if you're just a major introvert, this sounds like a dream come true. However, like a lot of anomalies, this dream can quickly become a nightmare. If someone wears the cap repeatedly, or for too long at one time, they risk the effects of the cap becoming permanent, even when it's removed. You can become a forgotten person, impossible to notice and remember, even to those closest to you. Why anyone would want such a fate is a mystery, so it came as a surprise to the Foundation when the hat suddenly disappeared from secure containment, replaced by a note reading, "Thanks, I needed my hat back, LS." Who was this mysterious LS? And was the anomaly truly theirs prior to containment? Scientists, security officials, and administrators hoped this would be an isolated incident, but LS was far from done. And even worse for the Foundation, LS was now armed with a perfect anomalous tool to make their next containment breach even smoother. The next incident was known as Security Breach Incident X-23, and was committed against the extremely valuable Site-19, the largest Foundation site there is. Most humiliating of all for the Foundation security team working there, security footage indicated that LS simply strolled into the base without being noticed. SCP-268 was working wonders. This time LS had a new target, SCP-914, an anomalous machine also known as the Clockworks. This machine, originally tested by the famously emotionalist Dr. Charles Gears, has the ability to refine any object placed into its chambers into a greater version of their original selves, often with strange and anomalous results. You can probably see why someone wanting to utilize anomalies for their own gain would take such a keen interest in this one. LS breezed past the guards, inexplicably destroyed the file for SCP-407, a taped song that causes unchecked cellular growth, and made their way towards 914. Unfortunately, a researcher who was working on 914 was murdered by LS during the breach. We have no idea what they did with 914. Perhaps they refined 268 to act as an even more effective stealth tool, without its unpleasant side effects. Maybe they made the daring move of refining themselves. We'll never know. All we do know is that this time, LS left a letter. It was long, rambling, and philosophical, with no incriminating information that could be used to identify the mysterious figure. They signed off the letter with, "I leave you with one final truth. The garden is the serpent's place. The divinities of fear and order who come to walk in the cool evening air are only visitors. Do not fail to see the evil hiding in the light, nor the aromatic beauty of the palest flower of darkness. Signed sincerely, LS." These repeated references to the serpent clued the Foundation in on the affiliation of this new troublemaker, a growing group of interest named the Serpent's Hand. But really, who are the Serpent's Hand? What do they want? What is their connection to other active groups of interest, like the Chaos Insurgency and the Global Code Coalition? And was this mysterious LS figure the leader of the group, or just another agent? These were all the questions on the minds of the Foundation's best and brightest tactical thinkers, but the answers didn't come easy. During the Serpent's Hand's investigations, the Foundation found an unlikely ally in what is usually one of their biggest opponents, the Global Occult Coalition. The GOC had dealt with the Serpent's Hand before and understood their central philosophy. Whereas the Foundation and the GOC were both committed to acting in secret and maintaining a sense of normality, the Serpent's Hand wanted the exact opposite. They wanted to destroy the secrecy around the anomalous and supernatural and reveal the existence of it all to the general public. While the Foundation and the GOC think this is crazy, the Serpent's Hand aren't just insane architects who want to unleash chaos across the world. In fact, they actually have some pretty interesting points. The Serpent's Hand acknowledges that the supernatural can be dangerous, but much like natural disasters and crime, will the public benefit from not knowing about them? Members of the Serpent's Hand also fight for the rights of non-violent anomalous entities, particularly sentient and sapient beings. They find the Foundation's habit of containing them and the GOC's habit of killing them barbaric, and will openly use and collaborate with anomalies to further their goals. Like how LS is a keen operator of 268 for their infiltration missions. At least 177 individuals belonging to the Serpent's Hand have been identified, many of which who have actively performed raids on Foundation sites across the globe. It was a mystery to the Foundation how such a small number of members could run rings around them, and seemingly be everywhere at once, until a revelation was delivered by the Global Occult Coalition. The Serpent's Hand have an informal headquarters in an anomalous location known as the Wanderer's Library, an ancient and seemingly limitless archive containing every book from every dimension in the multiverse. This location exists outside of space and time, and can be accessed through a global network of interdimensional portals known as the Ways. Like a supernatural guerrilla soldier, members of the Serpent's Hand would exit from one of the Ways, raid a Foundation or GOC site, and then escape back into another one of the Ways, using the Wanderer's Library as a safe zone. The library was a convenient way to access and steal from sites worldwide with impunity, increasing their stock of anomalous items and beings each time. While performing raids and stealing anomalies feel like textbook chaos insurgency behavior, the Serpent's Hand have an extremely frosty relationship with the insurgency too, often seeing them as greedy, erratic, and short-sighted. The Serpent's Hand has a series of catchy nicknames for its various foes. It refers to the Foundation as the Jailers, the GOC as the Bookburners, and the Chaos Insurgency as the Madmen. The Foundation even formed a new task force known as the Bookworms, explicitly for Serpent's Hand-related missions. While the Foundation has engaged in a number of raids and skirmishes on the Serpent's Hand since their feud began, they've never been able to gather any information about who gives the orders. Only the Global Occult Coalition have been able to successfully perform a raid on the Wanderer's Library, an act that was extremely difficult and costly. It also earned the GOC a spot as the Serpent's Hand's public enemy #1, a role the Foundation isn't eager to take from them. With the unlimited knowledge present in the Wanderer's Library and the mysterious nature of their command structure, this group manages to be a formidable enemy for the Foundation despite its small size. What the Foundation doesn't know is that there actually is no command structure for the Serpent's Hand. They're a decentralized group of splinter cells and lone wolves acting out a philosophy rather than a specific mission. This way of working is so alien to the highly regimented structures of the Foundation and the GOC, it's no surprise that they're stumped by it. This still leaves us with one more question central to the whole mystery. If not the leader of this organization, who exactly is LS? To answer this, we must return once more to Dr. Charles Ogden Gears, the cold and robotic Foundation scientist in charge of SCP-914 research. If all the ways Dr. Gears has been described so far has made you think he wouldn't be a particularly warm and loving father, you'd be absolutely right. Just ask his estranged daughter, Allison Chow. Allison never forgave Gears for abandoning her and her mother, and she now does everything she can to get revenge on him and his precious Foundation. But here's the problem. The Gears of this dimension is not the only one who has a child with an axe to grind. Gears has been a deadbeat dad in a number of dimensions, so much so that these disgruntled daughters converge in the Wanderer's library to plot their revenge across dimensions together. This collective of Allison Chows, sometimes believed to just be one Allison, is known to the Foundation as the Black Queen. However, they themselves more commonly refer to their daughter support group turned terrorist organization as the Little Sisters, or, if you'd prefer, the abbreviation LS. While the Serpent's Hand has no leader, the Little Sisters are some of its most devoted and dangerous warriors. They're intelligent, coordinated, and, due to their obsession with Dr. Gears, personally invested in hitting the Foundation where it hurts. After all, that's what the Serpent's Hand is all about. Striking out against the oppressors who keep a stranglehold on the truth, throwing off the chains imposed by the Foundation, and the violence visited upon anomalies by the Global Occult Coalition. If the Serpent's Hand gets their way, one day there may be a glorious world where humans and anomalies knowingly coexist. It is a nice thing to imagine, utopian even. But the Foundation's greatest concern about the Serpent's Hand isn't that they're evil, it is that they're naive. While the Serpent's Hand don't wish to usher in the apocalypse, it doesn't mean they won't by complete accident. Their kindness and understanding towards anomalies may one day make them a perfect band of useful idiots for an entity with far darker intentions. And one day, they may just release something that would really be better locked away. Now go check out SCP Chaos Insurgency Explained and SCP-001, which is the real SCP-001, for more deep lore from the world of the SCP Foundation.